Welcome to this video, a new part on the basic endgame series. And yeah, you see it on the board, queen against rook. Very basic elementary endgame that can really arise quite frequently. And yeah, it is not so easy, to be honest. I had a look at it, of course, when I prepared for this video. I had, of course, studied this years and years ago, but forgot most of it. So was good to see the ideas and themes again. Yeah, I really can say it is not that easy. If black really defends with a computer-like precision, of course, I say black here as the defender, the rook side. If he defends with computer-like precision, then it is not easy to achieve the win, definitely. Very often, normally, there won't be a computer-like defense, but what definitely you should know with the queen are a couple of positions that are definitely winning, and winning in comparison easily, so that you, should they pop up during this process of winning the position, then that are maybe stuck into your head, and then you can just reproduce what you know. It's not that easy to think about very concrete positions, but think of motifs how to win. We will start with this position. This is probably the most famous position of this endgame. A position of that type will arise during the final stages of the process, when you have already pushed the black king near one of the corners and the rook is defending on the second rank. This is the, let's say, least favorable version of the second rank defense, as you can call it, the second rank defense of the rook. This Philidor position is very old. Philidor, of course, is from the 18th century, so the winning procedure here is known for almost 250 years. Yeah, how does white win here? If we have black to move here, it is fairly simple. With black to move, it's a Zugzwang position. Black has no way to keep rook and king together as a unit. He has to move the rook somewhere, and then we will pick it up by a fork or mate black. We will actually see this later. What's important is that with white to move, the only thing we need to do is we need to give black the right to move, to put up or set up this Zugzwang. So what white will do here, he will start with the check on e5.
Check.
Yeah, now black's choice is very limited. He cannot go here.
Checkmate.
It's mate. One of the important mates to know, where the rook here is absolutely useless. Yeah, black can also go to the a file. That's the only possibility. Let's say he goes to a8. If he goes there, we give the check back on a1. Here we see another important mate.
Checkmate.
Again, this is a mate, with the rook now taking away the important square on a7. So black has to go to b8. There is no other move. And then we play queen a5. And we are back at the initial position. If we look at this, this is totally identical. Yeah, here, this is the initial position, and this is the position after queen a5, but now it's black to move. And now we see the big problem here. He has no move really. Rook a7
checkmate
is a mate again, with this rook on a7 blocking an important square. Yeah, if he goes on the 7th rank, we can go through them one by one. We have
check
queen here to pick up the rook. If he goes to f7, we have
check
this type of procedure. Yeah, the check here. If he now goes to the a file, we have queen a3.
Check.
Yeah, again, note this mate. That's
checkmate.
really important. King here, queen
check.
b3, and we will pick up the rook. If he, after queen b4, goes to c8, we get this position, and this is also a total Zugzwang for black. We are threatening various checkmates on the 7th, like this and this, so the rook has to stay on the 7th to cover this, but at the same time we also threaten queen f8 mate, so we cannot go to g7 or h7, something like that. Yes, let's say he goes here, we have the mate.
Checkmate.
This is another complete Zugzwang that may stick into your mind, so this is also a very easy win. So we cannot go to f7. If he goes to g7,
Check.
we pick it up right away. Or to h7,
Check.
we use this procedure. Yep.
Checkmate.
Mate. No. Or if we look at this,
Check. Check.
using this. So on the 7th rank, there is nowhere to go. What about b3? Yeah, then we have
Check.
queen e5 check, and again we will pick up the rook really quickly.
Check.
Check here,
Check.
and this procedure. It's the same thing here,
Checkmate.
just like a mirror image. It's this is why you should look at those positions, because those kind of pictures stay in your mind, and then you easily, far more quicker, you see those kind of ideas. Rook b2 is the same thing as rook g7.
Check.
Whoops, and the rook is gone. The most difficult one, or the longest winning procedure, is after rook b1 here. After that we have queen
Check.
e5 check, king a7, queen
Check.
d4 check, and yeah, here it's one of those mates again, so he has to go back, and then we win by means
Check.
of this, which we already have seen,
Check.
just as a mirror image with the rook coming to h7. Again we will pick up the rook. This is the winning procedure out of Philidor's position. We go back. Yeah, this is really a super important position that you definitely will get if you get this endgame and black is defending accurately. Then still you will be able to force him into this type of position. The king is near the corner, like here. Could also be on g8, yeah, g1, near the corner. The rook on the 7th rank. There, Philidor's position is a win. Note that very often it's a quiet move that that is required to set up the Zugzwang. If we
Check.
again look at the sequence of moves, just to show it again, right here, really the quickest way to win and the most reliable one is the quiet move queen a5. This move that nears the queen to the king and rook. So we set up this, but it's a silent move. It's not with a check, and this sets up the Zugzwang. Very often, this kind of non-check moves are essential to put him in this difficult position where he needs to disconnect king and rook, and then very often you will win the rook. This is Philidor's position. How do you get there? Yeah, very often you will get there from the so-called second rank defense, where we also have king and rook on the second rank, but not near the corner. Let's set up a position like that to see how we get from the second rank to the Philidor position. Yeah, that's a typical position, quite similar to the Philidor position, but it's not quite the same, as we have not achieved that the king is on b8 and the rook on b7, where they are really near the corner. Yeah, how does white proceed here? The important thing is to look at the upcoming sequence and try to sort of memorize some of the positions that occur. This is really the key point. There are some type of position that some types of position coming up, which is very useful. That they are very useful to know. And at the end of the video, I will show an example where you might recognize one of those positions. Okay, queen f5
Check.
is the starting move of this particular sequence. This position, by the way, was analyzed by Max Oewe, 1958. Yeah, king d8. Yeah, no other move. This is very important thing to note. Winning the rook with the pin. Yeah, this is
check,
also easy. So have to go here. Next, white plays king c5. Aha, why to c5? Yeah, it's a bit weird looking. Why would you step back? But the important thing is, if we go to c6, black has the very annoying move rook e6 check.
check,
And then we have to step back because this is a stalemate.
stalemate,
It's yeah, this is not spoiling the win, but it's making it more difficult as we allow black this rook e6 thing. Just here is easier. And from here it is already very tricky for black. King c7 was Oewe's main line, but we also need to look at the other lines as they are very instructive and show a very typical motif how we get the king in the corner. And this is something that you should look at very carefully. King e8, yeah, how do we go from here? The key way is to give the check. And now approach with the king. Yeah, we always want the queen and king near the black king, but we don't want to do it with a check normally, because this sets him into the Zugzwang dilemma. What should black do now? He does have some moves, but most of them, yeah, lose the rook directly. Rook a7 is the toughest. Yeah, note that, let's say, moves along the e file here lose the rook very quickly,
check,
like this, or like this.
check,
Yeah, if he goes all the way back,
check,
we get this checks in.
check,
Check, and the rook
check,
will ultimately be lost.
check,
So rook a7 is the toughest defense, staying here on the 7th rank or the 2nd rank, however you want to call it. Rook a7 is the toughest. And now white wins with
check,
queen c4 check. King f8. Yeah, of course he cannot go here.
check,
Directly stepping into a fork, or alternatively here, where we
check,
get the fork in this way. King is just far too open here. So king f8 is the toughest defense. And now king to e6. That's a very interesting way to play that. The king is on e6. The queen here prevents checks on the 6th rank. And yeah, black really only can now play rook e7 or rook f7. If he goes rook e7, check, we go here, and it is very simple. This type of position we have seen before, where white is threatening this check here, and then go on the 7th. Yeah, and black also has no square on the 7th rank to go to, because there is the mate here. So this is a total dilemma. Rook f7 is far tougher. Yeah, and after rook f7, we now have a very nice winning method. And this is something that is very useful to know. Queen
check,
c5 check. King g8. Yeah, this is not helping. We get this in. And now we are very, very, very close to the Philidor position. And I think black is not even reaching it. No, he's not even reaching it. He really has no moves now with the rook. Can go here.
check,
And then after that, we already have a completely winning position. Yeah, something like that is also very typical. So king g8. And now a very interesting moment. Here the best white move is something that is somewhat counterintuitive maybe, but very useful to remember. The move queen to d5. It's quite funny, this line up here. But this is very strong. It really puts black under a very awkward Zugzwang. What should he play now? If he moves the king here, we get the same thing that we have seen before.
check,
Here black is completely lost. Mate on h8. Yeah, the pins with queen h6 in case of rook g7. So there's really not much to do. He has to play rook g7. And then we get in rook king f6 check. That's funny. Yeah, this is an immediate mate.
Checkmate.
And the only thing that he can do is to go here. Queen h1 check. King g8. Remember this one? This is the Philidor position. Our initial position that we looked at. Now in this case it is queen h1 to h5, putting the queen on the 5th rank, and this is the win that we had seen earlier. Yeah, just rewind to the start of the video if you want to see this again. This kind of setup here is the way to force black into the Philidor position ultimately. So we need to go back though. In this initial position after king c5, Oewe mainly looked at king c7. We also need to check that. How do we win now? Queen d5 is right. And this limits black's possibilities enormously. Yeah, the rook cannot really go far away from the king. If we, let's say he goes to e1, just for argument's sake.
Check.
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 Check. And we already have him where we want him. So something like that is going to set up Philidor's position relatively quickly. Rook d7 is the toughest way to try to defend it.
Check.
And king b5. Yeah, black will stay on the 7th rank, definitely. Rook c7. And now again, a silent move is the key. Queen to e8, not giving any more checks. Yeah, now black really is in trouble. Where should he go with the rook? Yeah, if he moves the rook, let's say to c8, to do it step by step. We have the check. Yeah, this is again
check.
Very easy. Yeah, maybe here. And again,
check.
We get this in. Yeah, black really cannot go to c8. If he goes, let's say, to c3.
Check. Check.
We will get this winning position.
Check.
And here is out of check, and we threaten queen a8 with a mate. Yeah, this will cost the rook ultimately. Like, let's say something like this to cover the mate, and some check here.
Check. Check.
Picking up the rook. This is the big problem if the rook tries to go away from the king. So king c7 is the relative, king a7, sorry, is the relatively toughest. And then again, it's a silent move, centralizing the queen. That is key. Yeah, black now cannot really go anywhere on the 7th besides b7.
Check.
King c6. King a8. Queen a4 check. King b8. Queen a5. And that's a position that you know. Philidor's position. The first position that we looked at. It will ultimately lead to this. I think what's very nice and very visual is this kind of thing. If we go back after this, if when black goes here,
check.
to remember the setup that we reached in this line. Yeah, if we look at it again. Yeah, this setup is very useful to remember. Okay, this was the 7th rank defense. And don't worry too much that you are not able to, let's say, learn this by heart. It's about looking at the various motifs. How can we win the rook? Yeah, those kind of mates at the side of the board, and pictures like that might stick into your head to help you to work it out over the board. There is nothing to, you cannot learn it by heart. It's not a sequence that is totally memorizable. It's not possible to do that. We are not computers, but it is helpful to have seen those things to get a better chance at doing it over the board. Now let's look at something called the third rank defense. This is the defense that black normally sets up the first. When you break this, you get to the second rank, and then at the end to Philidor's position. Let's look at the third rank defense. Yeah, here's an example for the third rank defense. It is not that easy really to find something or some motif, something very clear to remember how to break it. To be honest, it's not easy. What normally is required is, as usual, a silent move that sort of puts black into trouble with his rook. Let's say here Queen f4, just to show the general idea. And this is a move that is not very intuitive, as you are on the 7th rank, which looks nice, but in fact you need to play something like Queen f4 in this concrete position. You know, this is just a sample. In a practical game it might be different, but it's something like that that is normally the solution to the problem. Here it's the chessboard is rather big, but black really now has problem with his rook. He has no rook move that is not losing the rook. We can look at various moves, but we finally will win the rook. Just some samples. If he goes here, for example,
check, check.
Okay. If he goes here,
check, check.
And we pick it up. So let's say he goes to a square like that.
Check.
It's a check.
Check.
And again. What the move Queen f4 does is basically placing the queen on the best possible square in order to really get the rook every time it is moved. This, in this concrete position, is Queen f4, but the position that you have on the board probably in a practical game is somewhat different. But normally it should be a move that places your queen near the center, because from there it has the best possibilities for those typical double attacks. And yeah, it might be different in the concrete position, but something like that. It should place the queen near the center, and it's something that needs to be checked individually in each game. Here Queen f4 is this magic move. King d7, because there is no rook move. And now
check.
With Queen a4, King here,
check.
Queen a7, Rook b7. Black is forced to switch to the second rank defense. And from here, we
check.
already have seen examples earlier how to do it. Yeah, we can look at a typical sequence.
Check.
Yeah, if black now plays check, we go here. Yeah, note this thing again. It happens time and time and again. Rook b7, Queen c6, check. King a8, Queen d5. And Philidor position. This third rank defense is the most difficult to grasp, and this is normally also where humans fail if they try to win this queen against rook against a table-based program or computer program that is good enough to calculate this to the end. Here it is normally where humans fail, because you need to find the ideal queen move in a way. Also very difficult in a real game against a human player, of course, but don't forget that the defender will make mistakes, definitely. Yeah, you cannot rely on him blundering the rook, but he will definitely not play the absolute 100% type of computer-like defense. It simply does not happen. So how does this apply in a practical game? What I actually did is I had a look through my big database, and I was looking for examples of queen against rook in grandmaster practice, and I came up with the following. Just let me load it. Yeah, this is a game between Boris Gelfand and Peter Swidler, two super GMs that are very well known today even. Of course, this game is from 2001, so a couple of years ago. Played in the then Philidor Championships KO tournament. If I'm not mistaken, this was a rapid game with very little time at the end. So not too critical, please, about the players. And I'm not here to show Peter Swidler here in any bad light, because I
Check.
just go. We
Check.
had a long
Check.
rook end game at the end.
Check.
It was f and h pawn. Yeah, I'm just through this very quickly, and after a long while we got to queen against rook. And at the end, it turns out that Swidler didn't manage to win this, which is, yeah, of course, for a super grandmaster, tad embarrassing, but it's something very human to happen. With little time, you can so easily screw this up. It's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, really. But okay, let's look what happened. I don't want to look at the whole endgame. I just want to look at a couple of positions where the knowledge of certain motifs maybe would have helped here. I mean, Swidler knows this stuff. He has looked at it, but to do it with absolutely no time on the clock is an entirely different thing. Just a couple of remarkable positions. Let's start with
Check.
a position that happened.
Check.
That
Check.
happened a bit later. Move 98.
Check.
Here in this position, we note that we have here an example of the second rank defense. What makes things sometimes a bit tricky here is if you look at it in these examples that I showed you, it is the seventh rank, yeah, with white being the attacker, and here it's on the side of the board, so it's all a little bit like a mirror image. This makes things a little bit difficult sometimes. Here Swidler could have won relatively easily. He played king f2, which still, of course, ultimately wins. But here the right way to proceed was queen to d4, a silent move. And now, yeah, the right to move is passed to white. He really does not have anything great here. We are very close to the Philidor position. Probably the toughest defense is something like rook g3. Then we approach, king g2 check, king f1. Yeah, he cannot give this check. King h3, and this is another typical winning method. King h3 looks stupid, but where do you go? Where do you go in this position? Yeah, if he plays rook g3, we get to this typical mate. And if he goes somewhere else,
checkmate.
It's immediately mate. Yeah, this is also a typical situation at the corner where this is the key checkmate threat. And queen d4 here would have been the quickest way to a victory. It's important to really know those little tricks where you, here with the king being here, you threaten this mate. Yeah, knowing this makes it easier to look at moves like queen d4 in this position. Yeah, he played king f2, and I want to look at a second position. Going to do this a bit quicker. If you want to look at the whole sequence, it's Gelfand versus Swidler from 2001. Easily findable online. It's 129 moves. So if you see a list of games between the two players, then yeah, it's the longest one. Okay, I want to get to this type of position. We again have the second rank defense, and yeah, let's look what happened here. Played rook to f7, king e6, and king g7. And here we have a situation where you might remember this kind of setup. Yeah, where the pieces are lined up like that. And here Swidler could have gotten exactly that. Queen d4 check. King g8, yeah, this is
checkmate.
An immediate mate. And this is
Check.
dropping the rook. So king g8, and now exactly the thing that we had seen in the example, where we have this lineup. Yeah, we only have colors reversed here. It's the same thing, of course. Queen d5, and from here the win is easy, as we had seen in the example before from Oewe. Just to show it quickly again: rook g7,
check.
King f6, check, and from here
check.
we reach Philidor's positions with a Zugzwang, the very first thing that we looked at. So it's really a matter of knowing a couple of ideas and motifs that might stick into your head, and then you can really use them. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's not a criticism here, don't get me wrong, but if for some reason, just by coincidence, Swidler would have seen this idea just 1 or 2 weeks before this game, he definitely would have played the move. And it's not a guarantee, if you have seen this video, that you might that you can remember it in a game, but there is an increased chance that it might happen. Yeah, this is a practical example how this kind of positions that we looked at can be applied in a real game. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you get this on the board, good luck in finding the right way. It's really not that easy, especially with little time. Thanks for watching.